So I've been contemplating the last few days this idea of strength and its shadow nature force. And really, what does it mean to live a life with real authentic strength? And so over these days, I've been really challenged by that shadow nature of force. You know, I've been watching myself wanting to express more of my deeper creative impulses. You know, some of my creativity that doesn't really have a framework, but is just a kind of relentless play with the shadow and light. And as I've been doing this, I've found myself feeling vulnerable, feeling, you know, not as confident and self-assured as I normally would be. But I'd be doing it anyway. And I watched how when I had feedback, that instead of just accepting the feedback and letting it roll past and acknowledging it and enjoying it, or just ignoring it, or just whatever I need to do with it, I was finding I felt this need to force the person's perspective into really understanding my art, my creativity, my expression. And the sensation that I had in my body, it's the shadow nature of force. It's like when I felt it, it's this tension. And as Richard says, it's this feeling of taking a round peg and just pushing it with all your might into a square hole. And if you imagine doing that, it's a really intense feeling that you can bring right down into your cells. And I realized how much I allow that frequency to be in my life, where, you know, from the fear I experience sometimes, from being out on the edge, of stretching myself continuously as a creative rebel, wanting to constantly evolve my capacity to express myself authentically, to walk the edge of human consciousness and explore it and make myself vulnerable. The fear often drives me to want everyone to agree with me, everyone to understand my perspective at least. And that's an impossible mission, and it's draining. And over the last few days, I watched how it would literally drain my energy as I gave it this attention. And so I thought, what does it mean then? What does it mean then to stand in strength? And so the vision that comes to me when I even say that is, you know, these giant waves out the back of Hawaii, you know, these big monster waves. They're like 30 foot, 40 foot. They're the giant things that are just coming in. The surfer is like a tiny speck on them. And you know, that surfer, those ones that have the courage to go out there, to stand in the face of death, to be in these incredible spaces and risk everything. You know, some people would call them crazy, would call them foolish for putting their lives on line just to ride a wave. But you know, such a beautiful expression of the creative rebel. They're not doing it for anyone else but themselves, for that experience of being on that peak of that wave. And it made me think, you know, the big wave surfers, the big wave riders, they don't try to force the wave to suit the way they want to surf. It would be ridiculous, right? You can think of the incredible weight that is coming on that wave. But instead, the surfer finds their strength on the board, their domain, their kingdom or queendom on that surfboard is where they have control. They can't control the wave, they can't control the wind, they can't control anything else outside of them. But they can control their surfboard and themselves and their presence and awareness with which they feel the wave. They feel the intensity of that wave and what direction it's going. They feel the way the wind's blowing. They read the signs through self-awareness in that present moment. And then they respond with power to that moment. And that's where they get their power from. They use the power of the wave through moving with it, not against it. And so it made me feel into that and think, you know, it's about the strength of the way you work your core stability. You know, a surfer has incredible core strength. Any surfer worth their weight, you feel their six-pack. You know, they're going to have a core strength, and that holds them stable So they can make very smooth movements and changes to ride that wave and carve it up so beautifully and create their art. And so I realized that in my pursuit for embodying the creative rebel in my life, for stepping into my destiny, my unique expressions of art and insights into this world, that it's not up to everybody around me to adapt and understand me, to make changes to fit me. It's okay if nobody understands me. It's up to me to develop my inner core strength so that I can stand on my cosmic surfboard through life and expressing myself. And all the winds of criticism or judgment or whatever might come my way, they will come, but they will blow past me. They will not knock me off my surfboard because my core strength is stable and solid. And suddenly, when I am strong inside, I find I'm no longer looking for that assurance outside. And so with that self-assurance, I'm able then to open up my heart even more, open up my creative expression even more, and release even more out into the world. And if no one ever sees it, if no one ever appreciates it, that's okay. Because in the end, for me, in my journey, it's about the expression. It's about stepping up into the embodiment of my destiny and finding my strength and core stability in that. So here's to strength, and here's to the creative rebels. And until next time, live your genius.